So far, we've covered the first 4 core controls that form the foundation of camera operations: ISO, shutter curtain or shutter speeds, the diaphragm or aperture and f-stops, and focus modes. In part 3, we're going to cover the shooting modes, also known as exposure modes on a still photographic camera. Remember the following from parts 1 and 2. The mechanisms for adjusting the basic camera controls on your camera, they may not be in the same spots of the equipment demonstrated in this video. So again, it's best to have your camera manual handy or download the digital version from the manufacturer's website. Now let's discuss the shooting modes found on cameras that offer fully manual and automatic capabilities. Shooting modes are the camera feature that helps with capturing a well-balanced image, meaning this is the control on a camera that helps capture details in the highlights, midtones, and the darker areas. There are 4 primary exposure modes found on cameras, with one of those being considered fully automated and 2 near fully automated. The 4th mode, as you may have guessed, is the manual mode. There are also scene modes and a fully automatic mode. For this lesson, we will stick to the 4 primary shooting modes and leave scene modes and the automatic mode for later video lessons. Manual mode is the shooting mode where you select the f-stop, shutter speed, and ISO settings in order to achieve a balanced or unbalanced exposure, and depending upon the end goal you have for the final image. Manual mode will take the most skill to learn, but it's also the most rewarding in that you have full creative control. With manual mode, you are given the great responsibility of balancing all 3 exposure controls. Again, ISO, shutter speed, and f-stop in order to capture the best exposure for your vision of the final image. Aperture priority mode is a semi-automatic mode. When using aperture mode, you pick the aperture while the camera selects the shutter speed to balance the image. You may have to manually adjust the ISO setting while in aperture priority mode in order to use the desired f-stop. There is also the option of putting the ISO setting on auto ISO mode, so you don't have to adjust on the fly. Aperture priority mode is best used when controlling depth of field is important, for example, in landscape or close-up photography. Shutter priority mode is also a semi-automatic mode. This shooting mode lets you control the shutter speed and the camera sets the aperture size. You may have to manually adjust the ISO setting while in shutter priority mode in order to use the desired shutter speed. Same holds true with shutter priority as with aperture priority mode. You can put the ISO setting on auto ISO mode. Shutter priority mode is best used when controlling motion is required, such as sports action photography or when photographing fast-moving subjects. Finally, there is program mode, which gives you limited control in setting the aperture and shutter speed settings. Unfortunately, program mode doesn't always know when you want good depth of field in a landscape photo or when to stop or when to show motion in action photos. It's the perfect mode for when you want your camera to do most of the thinking for you. Examples are, you're photographing a family outing or you're out shooting photos at a local amusement park. That's where program mode can be the best fit. Earlier, I mentioned scene modes and the fully automatic mode. That's the big green A found on the top of many cameras. Automatic mode does all of the thinking for you, which means the camera selects all of the settings for the exposure. It doesn't care about what you are trying to achieve. It just wants to provide a good exposure. Automatic mode will be discussed in later videos because it does have its place as a useful shooting mode for the serious or semi-serious photographer. That's it for shooting modes. We've now covered 5 of the 6 core camera controls: ISO, shutter speeds, aperture or f-stops, focus modes, and shooting modes. In part 4, the final part of Module 11, we will cover metering modes. As a reminder, mastering all 6 basic camera controls will open the door to you becoming a truly creative photographer. As I said at the end of parts 1 and 2, don't worry if it feels like a lot to remember. Repetition will become muscle memory. So get out there and have fun while you learn. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel using the subscribe button found below. Also, make sure to click the post notification bell so you never miss out on new content as it's posted. Last thing, please spread the word about this channel to anyone you think might be interested in learning photography. Remember, if you're going to shoot someone, use a camera. Thanks for watching.